Welcome, warrior. Let's do a countdown before we start. Can everybody see me? Can everybody hear me? Give me a 5 by 5. I see we've got a couple of people here already. PFC Magic. We've got Edie somewhere. Always number one warrior for reminding everybody to hit the like button. And I will add to that. Please subscribe to our Warriors channel because we want to get on the super highway of YouTube. I don't think it's too much to ask, but welcome everybody after a long weekend. Let's make sure everybody can hear me before I start ranting, perhaps raving, perhaps carrying on and losing track of everything. Let's see. Fred's here. Fred's saying hello to Edie. Okay, Fred, it's good enough. Fred says 5 by 5. Okay, Martha's also here. Let's get started. We haven't been together for a while. It's Tuesday, May 26, 2026. I hope everybody did indeed have a good weekend here in New York City. Torrential downpour, rain. You know what? I liked it because I was able to pretty much stay home, catch up, do a lot of writing, do a lot of research, reading, do a lot of, what should we call it? Reflection, meditation. Where should we go with, thank you, Lionel Nation, loud and clear. A lot of meditation about things we work on in the Warriors. You know, our mission of helping to end human trafficking, exploitation, helping to educate the communities, raise the awareness. Okay, we've been doing that. We've been successful at it. We believe at the Warriors, our mission is if we help one person, one family, one parent, one person every day, we have done our jobs because the big picture, and you know this, is overwhelming. New ways. I'm always thinking of new ways to come at this. And the problem with new ways is it's not really a problem for me because I forge ahead as a warrior and are warriors no matter what, right? Who's going to stop me? We do what we have to do. And I know what we do works, but there's so much resistance out there, which I can't figure out because we are simply trying to help people, educate. We give so much away for free, you know? That's why your support is so important. Let me mention that. That's why you watching these videos is so important. So hopefully you'll take them and put them on your platforms, or at least listen and talk to somebody in your family or your neighbors, somebody in your community, because we have an American crisis. And the good news is that more people are awake. William adds, yes, rained all weekend here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Yeah, but there's something so soothing about the rain, right? I know everybody likes to go out in the sunshine and barbecues and swimming. I mean, after all, it was Memorial Day. We should be contemplating a few things. You know, I put a statement out from the Warriors that, frankly, you know, we appreciate everybody, you know, for their service to our country because it's leading up to today and how we have to, frankly, I'm breaking this down a little bit, but protect children and protect families because this is at an all-time high. I am witnessing so much on a daily basis. I do not exaggerate. I do not make this up. Changing. And I'm on top of things and I keep up with things and we're part of coalitions and we're part of chats from around the country. So we have our sources and our inside information and, you know, boots on the ground in Washington. And frankly, I've got a couple of bones to pick right now. You know, our president was ready last Thursday the administration is very much into artificial intelligence, AI. We want to be the global leaders. We keep hearing that. Global leaders. We've got to be China. Got to be China. I mean, I don't live in China, but they're pretty good with technology, right? They may even be light years ahead of us. Now, again, I'm just saying this. It's my opinion. What I do like about China is, for instance, TikTok. Even though TikTok comes from China, they allow their children 40 minutes a day, and then it shuts down. And their information for their children is educational, mathematical, scientific, you know, history of their country, nature, feel good things for the kids. So the kids aren't like our American kids that are spending up to 9 hours a day scrolling infinitely, looking at this slop. I like the word slop that's being used lately. There's a lot of slop going on lately, especially in the last year. Everything in the last year has changed dramatically for everybody, whether you realize that or not. And this slop is infecting the minds of our children. It is stunting their developmental, you know, their brain growth. It is stunting everything around them, and we're allowing this. And let me just go back and look at some of the, I don't want to miss some of your comments. Martha says, thank you, World Cup. We're going to get into that a little bit regarding the World Cup and possible traffic lights and chaos. And besides that, there is so much exploitation pouring in right now as I speak. We're going to get to that in a few minutes. By His Love says, as a child therapist, I wrote some PDFs about 764 screen time and AI, but it seems that this generation does not pay attention. Too many kids are online way too much. Oh, I'd like to see those. By His Love. You can always send me things, Lynn at lynnswarriors.org. And we have Rick here saying hello. TikTok equals brain cancer. Well, okay. Rick, I don't want to consider, I've known people who've had brain cancer, have brain cancer now. It's horrible. I understand what you're saying, but let's separate this internet, this online. Look, we at the Warriors, I say it all the time, are pro-innovation, pro-technology. We work with a lot of great ethical technologists. I believe, let's get back to the administration right now, the federal government. You can have your global domination. If that's what you want to call it, go at it. That's what I say. Okay, I understand for security, national security. I also understand the threat to our children and families with the trafficking, the exploitation, the internet right now. Artificial intelligence is a national security threat because you're undermining society, right? Our kids are our future Americans, our future leaders. And it's a mess out there. And I don't understand, kind of rhetorical, but I'm asking all of you. There are so many parents more awake, good parents doing a good job with their kids, that the kids are still being harmed. Then we've got our group of vulnerable kids who have no parents looking out for them at all. So all the education in the world is not going to help unless that child, that teen themselves wakes up or has some sort of mentor or a teacher who takes an interest in them and helps them along this path, right? Why is it so hard to protect our own children? I do not understand it. Only country in the world, I think. Well, we know with big tech, no regulations, no testing of products, no testing of harm. They're just allowed to put out their product, right? Can't do that in the EU. Things are tested first. Again, I make the analogy because people understand it. Wear your bicycle helmet, wear your seatbelt. Don't drink and drive, but it's okay to have 5-year-olds on the internet, on Tinder, which was the case of somebody I was dealing with. Again, the parent should be on top of these things. And that's the other, there's parental primacy. We talk about autonomy. We're all for that, right? But at some point, if all of this is unleashed on society, on our kids, figure out how to have your global dominance, right, for national security and protect Americans. What happened to America first? Because I'm not really feeling it lately. Are you? So I don't understand why it is so tough to protect our children. I really don't. I don't understand why we're not using this common sense. I hear those two words thrown around a lot. And figure out, because it can be done, there are a lot of smart people out there, how we can also just put a few little safety guardrails. Yes, devices do have a few things. Most of them don't work for safety. Or kids, let's face it, are very savvy and smart, and they know how to get around anything. We don't believe in banning. We're not. We don't want banning. We don't like that word. I don't like that word. But we don't want big tech. They're allowed to rule the roost. They're allowed to just do whatever they want, right? Lots of money being made. It seems to be the bottom line. I keep hearing why when I ask why, whether I'm in Albany, whether I'm in Washington, anybody I talk to, why is this happening? So much money being made. Well, at some point, and I don't want to be the moral, teacher here or whatever you want to call it, but morally, we have to instill dignity in our children. Geez, when I know young women, very smart, that Lynn Williams, I agree, education replaces banning, but we have a lot of education going on. And it seems like the more we have going on, the worse things get and are escalating. I mean, I bear witness to these things on a daily basis. So again, a lot of smart young women in particular, I know right here in New York, Columbia, NYU, are going on OnlyFans and telling me about it. We do focus groups. We're involved in things behind the scenes here. They'd rather show pictures of their feet and get $400, $500 a pop. I'm not asking them what they're doing with their feet, but somebody's paying $400 or $500 for this instead of working in a store, And when I question them and just say, why do you do this? And well, nobody can see my face. So this, if this is the thinking of our young people, and young people I consider bright, very bright, not all, but a lot of them, not all. I spent a delightful couple of hours today with a brilliant young woman that gives me a lot of hope as a warrior, and that we do have a lot of great young people out there, but we need to showcase them, elevate them, mentor them, promote them, do everything in our power to help them be our future in America. But that being said, the young women, getting back to the feet pictures, are, again, it's become normalized, habituated. They are surrounded. I'm not blaming even them, because our 30 and under set has kind of been inundated, whether it's music, streaming shows, especially right now, that show Euphoria on Netflix. They're just so used to this sexualization, they don't think twice about it. It's kind of in one ear, out the other. But think about how degrading that really is. Pictures of your feet, and morally, and that's what it's acceptable. And where's the full, real push? Where are those feminists I kept hearing about growing up? Because a lot of them are still around now. I mean, they may be older than I am, or I was kind of on the tail end as a kid, but I still remember it so vividly. The marches, and I always loved reading newspapers, even as a kid, and reading these stories of these women coming forth. I mean, for instance, I don't think a woman could get a credit card on her own. I think it was 1970 or 72, around then. A woman couldn't get a mortgage or rent an apartment on her own, all around the same time. So that's not that long ago. So now we have, all of a sudden, I think women and girls are worse off than that whole kind of women's movement going on. So what is this really all about? Again, I'm going to point out there's always hope and great news. We do have a lot of young people. They are waking up, and they say they've been used as guinea pigs, and they're coming forward to educate their peers, because after all, their messaging coming out of their mouths, their peers, actually resonates better than coming from me, because they, look at me as a mom, a grandma, whatever they're looking at me as, and let their peers teach them. So we at the Warriors do try. A lot of our monies, that's where it goes into educating our young people, who can then go out and pass the message along, so it can snowball and we can build up our future American adults and leaders. So thank you, everybody, for all of your support and all of your messages I get of encouragement and in-kind services, things like that. It means the world to us. But I'm getting really tired of Washington having to fight. So President Trump, I started out, and then I, of course, digress as usual, everybody. Yeah, Martha agrees. It's better when it comes from peers. Absolutely. But then it's my job to teach people around my age and the parents, like, what all this is, so that they can teach their peers as parents, grandparents, older individuals. So we all have work to do, right? We all have work to do. And yes, we need our young people. I need to see more mentorship, because we talk about collaboration a lot. We talk about mentorship. It's all great. We talk about it. I'm here to tell you, I see very little. Thank you, Smiling Sue. I see very little true collaboration or mentorship. I see older people don't want to be bothered by younger people. People don't have time, they say. When something's important to you, and you know this, you make the time. And a little bit goes a long way in mentoring a young person. I'm not suggesting you have to hang out 24 hours a day kind of thing, but giving them a little support, giving them a little direction, a little hand on the shoulder. It means everything. So everybody better wake up to that as well. It's our duty. I really feel it's a duty as we get older to share our life's journey, what we've all learned, right? What I do now, I could never have done even 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't have life on my shoulders like I have now. Now I can impart the wisdom and help, right? And also, younger people always teach me, I need them. They teach me so much about what they're thinking, at their age, what they want to do with their lives, what's going on online, which, if one-to-one I'm talking to somebody kind of thing, they may not necessarily really tell me, right? But like getting our focus groups together, or getting those trusted people, younger people we work with, and they open up and give me a lot of information, which helps me be a better warrior and helps me share better information with you. So we really have to all come together and figure this this out. But getting back to Washington, so last Thursday, President Trump was going to announce an AI executive order. I was very pleased with it for a few reasons. That being, the administration has been full in on AI for global dominance, not mentioning child safety, but President Trump decided, wait a minute. I'm paraphrasing here a little bit. Let me put the brakes on it a little bit. Let's have a little bit more oversight. Not sure everybody likes that word, but I'm going to use it here. Before any kind of AI product is unleashed into society, we got to test it a little bit. We got to vet it. We got to question it. And I thought this is terrific, because even though children in particular aren't being mentioned, at least it's not this full force. We're going to unleash it on society with no barriers or anything. At least it's something, right, in the right direction. Also, Silicon Valley's David Sachs was given the boot about, I want to say it was about 2 months ago now, 10 weeks, in the White House. He was in the ear of the president, and the eye, constantly talking up, and another one of these billionaire types, how great the AI is and global dominance, and we're going to dominate the world. It's all they use in Washington, domination, right? This word. We're going to be the global leaders. Well, be a global leader, and let's have some child safety, and let's put big tech in their place. And, let's help parents with various issues, food, childcare. That's another program, though. Stephen, thank you for recognizing our work. It's your support means everything to us. Thank you very much. That's Stephen Salty, everybody, 853. I like that. Stephen, where are you? I see that. I think that's in pounds. Even though I have my glasses on, I'm a little fuzzy today, hard to see. Tell us where you are if you want. Martha says, with AI, we will have to give up something. Why should we have to give up anything, right? That's just the point. Why is it always on the public to give up something? Why isn't on the other end, the ones who have all the money and the power, why aren't they giving up anything? But that being said, at the last minute last Thursday, and all the big tech usual suspects, the Sam Altmans and the Mark Zuckerbergs, they were all, from my understanding, in Washington, ready for this great. Well, yeah, they were filing into Washington. They were getting ready when he made the announcement in the afternoon for this announcement. They weren't liking this announcement because, again, it's not giving them full unleashing power, something to that effect, right? Our understanding is that Mark Zuckerberg called the president, a couple of other people. Oh, David Sachs, the one who got the boot, as I like to say, my words, not anybody else's, from the White House. And the president reversed the whole decision. Now, the decision to unleash AI on the American public is so dangerous, right? Yes, we know there's a lot of good medically, finding out things we know about this. If we could use AI truly, and it can be done, to empower our kids, to tutor our kids, to help our kids, that's great. We're all for it. All of us here are for that. But to replace critical thinking, critical analysis, I don't know where this will all go. But the president reversed this. I'm not happy about that. I'm really not happy about that. Just today, it was announced this morning, 44 of our state attorneys general here in the United States, 44 states. So it's almost all 50, right? And I put it on our LYNN'S Warriors, our X account. So please go look, a letter, okay, addressed to the government, those who we have to address, President, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, everybody. Just go look at it when you have a chance, please. 44 of them have come out with what they took is our Kids Online Safety Act, Senate version 1748. And back around Thanksgiving, they lumped it all in with a whole, I'm trying to break this story down because I know it can get kind of a little bit tedious. I admit it. They lumped our bill in 4+ years in with a bunch of other bills. What they did, though, the House, right? Refresher, that Kids Online Safety Act passed in the Senate 91-3. We thought it's a no-brainer, right? It's going to now go to the House. It'll be almost unanimous like the Senate. Well, it just sat there, as I like to say, collecting dust. But all of a sudden, after a year and a half or so, right when everybody is leaving Washington for Thanksgiving, they announce, we're gonna do something with it, whatever. And they announced that they put it in. They lumped all these bills together, but they took out those 3 little words that mean a lot: duty of care, meaning big tech. you have a duty of care when you put out a product that you knowingly, it's not harmful. It's kind of a broad duty of care, right? That's been one of the pushbacks, like what exactly is the duty of care? But that being said, House just went ahead, they took it out, duty of care. And there's also this push for this preemption. Now, the states have done a terrific job, getting back to this 44 AGs today, of online safety bills, of AI, all of this. And now the federal government wants to come in, sweep out. I don't see how this is ever going to happen. This is going to be tied up in so many lawsuits, at least in our lifetime. Lifetimes, I guess I should say, that we'll just erase all of that, and none of those laws, legislation, none of it's going to stand, and we're just going to go all in. Anyway, go to our X, Lynn's Warriors, and check this out in this letter. And just understand, we still need support on our Kids Online Safety Act. It doesn't hurt for you to go to house.gov, senate.gov, find out who represents you, urge them with one sentence, please support Kids Online Safety Act, Senate 1748. Very important. I'll put it in the body of this video. We want our Senate version with those 3 little words, duty of care. And also put a link to what the bill actually is if you feel like reading about it. But I'm here to say there is such a pushback for all of this. Thank you, Rick. Yes, hit the like button, please. Give us some likes. So we've got all of that going on that has to be addressed. We have June 23rd. I'm working on a special project that will be announced in Washington, D.C. We have Social Media Remembrance Day. And that is all these parents. Remember, we are big supporters of all these parents and family members whose children have been harmed, the ultimate harm. Certain words we can't say here. I think you know what I mean. Unalived, ultimate harm, victims of social media, whether it is cyberbullying, we don't talk enough about, which is eating disorders. We don't talk enough about that. Thousands of videos, how to starve yourself, to fill in the blank, okay? Horrible things with all of this harm, not to mention the usual sextortion, trafficking, buying drugs with 2 clicks. And we do a memorial, pictures of the children all over the lawn of the Capitol. Capitol is a big place. The pictures, there's thousands more the pictures we don't even have up, but it's just unbelievable. And these vigilant parents, we have to give them all credit. They're representing all parents. They're representing you and me, right? Even if our children have not gone through this. This is just not right for our American kids. So I'll have more on that. It's about a month away, a little less, June 23rd. Next week, if you happen to be in the New York, New Jersey area, on June 4th, we are doing a lovely little in-store with little words project. They are, it started by a mom. She wanted to make bracelets. See, these are the terrific stories we should be hearing about in America. Words of encouragement, and you've seen the bracelets with little beads on them. A lot of competitors now and people who have kind of ripped her off, basically, but that's America for you. But she started just at home in New Jersey, making these little bracelets with beads, with words of encouragement, strong, all kinds of stuff, powerful, moms rock, all that stuff. And it's really taken off. Here in New York, they opened a fantastic downtown boutique, Little Words Project, it's called. And you collect the bracelets. Girls and young women are piling them on, wearing 10 and 20 bracelets. Each bracelet is registered. You exchange them with friends, with messages. But again, it's an interactive. We need interactive things. You come in there, you can string the beads, make your bracelets. I know it sounds very simplistic. I don't know if anybody here remembers, I used to get the beads, remember, in little plastic packages and the little white wire. And, well, I am going back to the late 60s, early 70s, and you would make bracelets and necklaces out of the beads. That was a big thing for a while. Well, it's the same concept. And this has really taken off across the country. I don't know how many stores, I have to look it up, probably 50 to 100 stores now around the country. So they graciously have selected Lynn's Warriors for April, May, and June as the nonprofit, right, of those months. And they donate a portion of the bracelet to our organization, which is fantastic. I'm very proud. So I'm going to go in store, Short Hills Mall in Short Hills, New Jersey. and that's over by Livingston. Please drop by and say hello to us. We'll be there from 6 to 8 p.m. We're going to be making bracelets. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, a couple of little surprises. I'd love to meet anybody that happens to be in that area. So come on out. That is on June 4th. We're doing that. And yesterday, I want to remind everybody, because it was a holiday. Holiday is kind of a hard word, right? With Memorial Day. Maybe it should just be called like Memorial Day. Like holiday always rings to me like, you know what? It reminds me of swimming and barbecues in the warm weather and happy and families, and that's what it should be, holiday, right? But Memorial Day, Veterans Day, they're a little bit different. Maybe we need a new name for them, kind of thing, as opposed to holiday. But it got me thinking. Yesterday, May 25th, was National Missing Child Day, basically, is what it was. And would you know what to do if you had a missing child or grandchild, or I don't know, say you saw a child in a supermarket standing there alone? Would you go up to them? Would you question them? Would you know what to do? So just a reminder I'm throwing out here that you always call 911. But then again, I'm in New York City, so I'm going to be honest with you. 911 would not answer this call. If I said, I see this child standing alone in a store, for the most part, they just, not important to them right away. But across the country, I think other 911s work well. So call 911, call your local FBI office. You should keep these numbers handy, put them in your phone, put them on a piece of paper, and on the side of the refrigerator, just have them just in case. And also the number 1-800-THE-LOST, 1-800-THE-LOST, to report a missing child. Because I'm still asking that big question of the 2,300 kids that go missing every day, including runaways. I'm always debating that one, because to me, runaways are missing children, right? A lot of kids run away because they have to. A lot of kids don't even run away. They're kicked out of their homes. We should be talking about that more. And they end up on the streets. And who sweeps them up, whatever the right word is, within hours would be a predator for the most part. Kids think they're tough. They'll survive. They might have no money, $10 in their pocket, maybe not even. If they're hungry and cold and somebody seems very nice and willing, they may just, it's always the same thing. Oh, you new in town? Oh, well, let me help you go over here and get a hamburger. I've heard this story so many times. The child goes, next thing they know, they're all involved with these predators. So understand, missing child, you have one, you think you see one. Remember, if you're wrong, you don't get in trouble. As people say, I'm not getting involved, I'll get in trouble if I'm wrong. I'm not going to get in trouble. You call your local law enforcement, 911, local sheriff, local FBI office, always 1-800-THE-LOST, right? Where are these 2,300 kids? Do the math. Where are all these kids? Once in a while, we hear a story of we found a child or something, but we're not hearing about it. We never heard about, I'm still asking, all the kids that came over the border, the minors. I heard we found 89,000 of them, but nobody knows where they went, where they are. Are they in homes? Are they, these youth homes kind of thing, like where group homes, youth homes, nobody knows. Stephen says, running to the wrong person. We need our kids to know there is a place they can run to that's safe. Yeah, but that takes a little work at home and developing that whole thing. And that's, Stephen, kind of the pushback I get when we should have a safe word. We should have a safe adult. The safe adult might not be the parent. A reminder that trafficking, most exploited children are exploited by a family member or somebody known to the family. So that myth of always a stranger really does not apply. Yes, we know there are strangers, but for the most part, it is somebody, the child, the teen, the person knows, right? Just today, I read a story. I have to look at it a little more thoroughly because I ran out the door early this morning, but about a wife, I think it's in France. She has 4 children, married for years, and her husband was selling her constantly, the mother of his 4 children, and doing all kinds of brutal things to her. And she was under his thumb, and she finally came forward after so many years to break free from this monster. So again, I have to review that story, see what's going on there, make sure it's all correct. Because frankly, anything you read on the internet these days could be this AI slop or just junk or just propaganda. There's so much going on. So we have to be very careful in where, we repeat information or talk about information. Let's make sure it's real. Pictures, forget it. We don't know a lot of pictures. The first question I always say to my husband, is that a real picture? Is that, I don't know. So we have to be very careful about repeating, always sharing facts, not fears kind of thing. So as we do that, you know what? I want to know your thoughts on something. So DC and New Jersey have started these teen curfews. What does everybody think about that? Because there's two things, teen curfews, and then also holding parents responsible. Because these teen takeovers, from my understanding from law enforcement and my sources, are far worse than we are ever hearing about in the media. They are virtually all over, and these kids have no fear of authority figures. I don't know about holding parents responsible when a lot of these kids have parents that don't even care about them, I guess. I mean, if your child was out 2, 3, 4 in the morning, wouldn't you know about it? Wouldn't you not let them out? They're 14 years old, a girl, 12 years old, out in the middle of the night. What's going on here with these teen takeovers? And now that we enter the warm summer months, they're just running wild through different beach towns, through malls, you've seen these videos. But here's what I was saying today to this brilliant young person I was with. There's so much bad that we keep seeing, whether it's traditional media, cable news, right here online. I know it gets the clicks and likes and traffic. Again, it's slop. But wouldn't it be great in my dream warriors world if the internet had all these great young people I'm running into, working with, getting to know, all this great material, because they keep saying, well, the young minds of the children, the young people, they're seeing all this and it's influencing them. Well, what if we had all these fantastic, and they are out there, believe you me, they just don't get showcased for some reason. All this great content of all these brilliant young people or kids doing, there's a story of the little boy who was mowing the grass for all his neighbors and all kinds of, built it into a whole business, and usually elderly neighbors, and one neighbor was disabled, and just one was a single mom, and just all these kids doing really good things. Yeah, Rick, I saw your comment. Yeah, because Channel 5 News here in the New York area used to have, do you know where your children are? I don't watch any news on the tube, as we say, Do they still say that? I mean, yesterday's day, May 25th, and I remember the day distinctly. I was a senior in high school. Eitan Pates here in New York City disappeared. I do remember thinking, they lived in Soho, downtown Manhattan. He was 6 years old. The story was his mother let him walk for the first time to the school bus stop, that she was watching from the fire escape from the window, and she could see him walk down the street, but then the bus was around the corner where you couldn't see. I do remember thinking, who lets their child, I remember thinking this distinctly, who lets their child walk to the bus stop alone in New York City? Now, I'm not trying to judge, but I remember thinking, how weird is that? This is like a little kid, right? Never to be heard from again. We'll never really know the Eitan Pates. I don't think we're ever going to know the Eitan Pates story at all. I'm clicking off something here. What's going on with this computer? Yeah, Rick says, I don't watch currently either. But wouldn't it be great that if all of the news stations, because there are people that still watch that, or all of the radio stations did these PSAs, and I've approached people and they just stare at me. Like, don't you think they have a duty when I'm telling you about 2,300 kids, that we would have an overall messaging in our country of running this messaging about kids, whether it's missing kids or digital safety or something generic, like to help everybody. So I got to continue working on that one. Yeah, I'm going to continue working on that one. So we have a lot going on. I'll be in Washington a lot in the month of June working on things, and we'll continue chipping away. I ask all of you to please follow us, to please support us. And supporting can be sharing a video, supporting can be sharing information, right? I mean, money is always great, but you know what? So is action. Taking action helps us tremendously. Sharing the AG's letter that was put out today. Let's leverage the internet for good. If you hear of a story about a terrific young person, I'd like you to send it to me. I want to showcase it. lynn@lynnswarriors.org. I want all of you to remember there is a lot of hope out there and a lot of great people and a lot of people working on these issues. You're not hearing about them, but a lot of people that are really coming together. There is tremendous pushback across the United States with AI, artificial intelligence. Don't think people are just letting this go by. You may not be hearing about it, from parents to people in the government to groups and organizations pushing back. We're not trying to stop anything. We're trying to have big tech held accountable in some fashion. Listen, they're making all the money. They've got their lobbyists running all over Capitol Hill, influencing legislative aides, members of Congress. We are fighting this, and we need all of you. So when we put out the call, take action, please do it. Again, House.gov, Senate.gov, takes all of within 5 minutes to contact who represents you and say, we support Kids Online Safety Act. We do not support AI, anything like that, because they do take notice. Now it's down to 4 to 7 in one office. If they hear about Kids Online Safety Act, from 4 to 7 people, used to be 10, now it's 4 to 7, they will address it. So please join me, because remember, our hashtag's a thing anymore. My husband said they aren't. I don't know if they are, but our hashtag always at the Warriors was community creates change. So we won't make it a hashtag, but we'll just say those 3 words, community. So will we fight in Washington and Albany and all those places and travel the country and educate people and make people aware? I'm still going to say it's at the community level where things change, and that's where we need all of you. So remember, if you see something, say something. Another great source, always keep that local FBI number handy. Everybody has a local FBI office somewhere, whether it's in every state has one. So you may not have it in your town, right? But you will have it somewhere in your state, and they can help you with issues. Let's always support survivors of all this exploitation. They are not being given much of anything, which is another disappointment. Yeah, they're being used for their stories. They're being trotted out for, conferences, roundtables, organizations raising money, but are they truly being given a way out and fighting so hard to maintain, their living situations? We do a lot of work. That's where a lot of our monies go, just a daily basis. Where's the job training? Where are the companies? And I don't mean making candles and hand lotions. That's very nice for survivors, but real getting into a trade they can have, that they can feel fulfilled and have a job, so they can stand on their own 2 feet, so they don't go back to these trafficking situations when it's all or the only way to make money, and you're psychologically damaged and conditioned and you're hungry. That's what you're going to do. Or a mom who has kids and no way out. So everybody better think about these issues, because they're affecting some way. All of these issues are affecting you. And if you understand none of this, what I'm talking about, it all comes down to your taxes. Okay. It's coming down to national security. It's coming down to, we'll do that in another show, what I mean by all of that. But it's costing our country billions and billions of dollars a year, all this trafficking and exploitation, and it's only getting worse. So help us educate. We want happy, healthy kids. We want you now in the nice weather to get outside. All the stuff, family dinners. I talk about it all the time. Reading books. The kids have to read books, an actual book, not online. Putting down the devices. Start with 15 minutes a day. Work up to an hour a day. Just do something. But you must all listen to me when I say I've never seen the speeding up of everything being thrown at the public right under your noses. And so many people are busy and overwhelmed. They're not even watching. How could you? And big tech is not helping. They're making trillions, or whatever the number would be after trillions. I don't even know. Zillions. I don't even know. Off the backs of our children. So let's all come together. Let's make a commitment in our own space. We're going to work on these issues. Every little thing helps. And with that, I'm going to let you get back to, let's see, it's almost dinner time if you're here, well, in New York, a little early, but okay. Early bird special. I want to thank all of you for being with us today. I also want to say to all of you, Stephen Salty, thank you. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for believing in this work. It is, and not because I'm in it. I wouldn't be doing it if it is an American crisis going on. Again, right under our noses. And I don't know the kids being born now, the kids that are 5 and 10 years old, what is their future if we don't start standing up, coming together? And it is happening, but we need more of it. Okay, so get into those schools, question what are they doing about AI, talk to your kids and grandkids, not accusatory. What games are you looking at? Just understand knowledge. Put any guardrails that are already on devices. Figure out how to do them. If you can't figure it out, write to me, lynn@lynnswarriors.org. Go to our great friend Chris McKenna, protectyoungeyes.com. He has every way to put a safety feature on a device to walk you through. He will help. His email is on the website. Help you through these steps. There is a lot of help out there. There's a lot of free help because we try to do it as much free as we can give away and talk about. So get with the program, everybody, because I want each and every one of you, when you wake up every day, to go out and be a warrior. Thanks. We'll talk again soon.